Well, hello. I'm trying to get my laptop coordinated. Okay, I think we're on now. Who knows? The trials and tribulations of technology. Hello, everybody. I've been kind of discombobulated today because I've been going through physical therapy for my right shoulder. I have a frozen shoulder. I've had it for years. It's nothing new. But I finally decided that I wanted to see if I could get some treatment for it and maybe unfreeze it a little bit so I have a little bit better movement. But anyway, I've been having all these PT appointments and they didn't have a whole lot available this week. So they wanted me to come today at 1 o'clock. And I thought, well, that's going to screw up the broadcast, but I took it because the appointments have been hard to come by. Anyway, I checked in at 5 minutes to 1 and went and sat down. And 15 minutes later, I went back up to the desk and I said, who am I seeing today? And the same person who checked me in said, well, you don't have an appointment today. It's like, you checked me in. Uh, so anyway, I find out I have an appointment scheduled tomorrow at 11:30, and then I have another one on Friday, which Fridays are a no-no. So I don't know if that woman is just cuckoo or what, but I left because I wasn't getting seen, and I'm here now. So anyway, hello, you guys. Um, so today we're going to be doing, as soon as I catch up with my brain, we're going to be doing this crystal double spiral bracelet, and I have instructions. I did this, gosh, years and years ago, and I had made kits for them. And I looked up the instructions, and I have two sets of instructions, and one was a little bit varying from the other. So I'm going to go with what the printed instructions are. So anyway, are you guys having, is the broadcast coming in okay? Because I keep getting a green screen and it just kind of flashes green and then I'm back. So I don't know. Are you guys experiencing that or are we okay? And I asked that because last time I had the broadcast, I just got dropped like halfway through it, and I don't know why. Um, uh, but I was able to finish it up. So anyway, okay, good to go. Great. Thanks and hi to everybody that just came in. All right, so this bracelet is made with Chinese crystals. They are a little bit um, more rounded. They're not like fire polish. Fire polish are a little bit different shape. The Chinese crystals nest very nicely in this design. I used to be able to find them a lot at any of the trade shows that I would go to, and now not so much. At least not in the colors and the size that I wanted to get. So um, I have a bunch still here of the right size, but they're all mixed colors. And I thought maybe if anybody wants a kit, I can put some kits together. I don't know how many I'll get out of that because you need about 200 beads per bracelet. So they would have to be mixed colors because I don't have enough of any one color, to do solid bracelets. So um, they would be a combination of many, which is kind of like what this is. All right, so what you need for this. Oh, okay. Debbie says in and out. All right, well, that's what I'm seeing here too. So hopefully we can get through this, but it just keeps doing that. So it makes me concerned. Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera down and show you the supplies that I have here. And for this bracelet, I am going to be using Fireline. This is 6-pound test and in the smoke color. I like that color a lot. And the 6-pound is just a really good weight for this particular project. I'm also using a number 12 beading needle, and I am also using size 8 seed beads for the core of the bracelet, and then I will be using size 15 seed beads in 2 different colors, and then my crystals. And these are the mixed colors, like I said, that I have. So, also, when I work with this particular bracelet, I thread my thread on a bobbin, and this bracelet, it takes about 6 yards of thread. So that's an ungodly amount of thread to be holding on to and working with at one time. So what I do is I thread half of it on the bobbin, and then I work with the other half, so about 3 yards. And that's still a lot to be working with. But the neat thing about this particular pattern is that you could work from either end. So say you're getting real short on your thread at this end, you can turn it over and unwind your thread, remove your stop bead, and proceed in the same pattern until you reach the length that you want. Okay, so that's kind of a neat aspect of this bracelet. All right, so also doing beaded projects on here is a little difficult because you can't see up close, as up close as you need to be really to see what I'm doing. And I apologize for that, but that's just the way it is for my broadcast. So I will try to explain as I go along. Now, the handout is pretty clear, so if you struggle with me through the broadcast, you should be able to pick up on those parts that you might not have been able to understand while I'm doing it live. So I'm going to start off with, we'll finish this one off, so you'll see how to do the end clasp on here. But to start off, I'm going to start a brand new one. And I've got half of my thread already wound on this bobbin. So now I'm just going to put my needle on here. And the thing with Fireline is if you have a hard time threading, getting this through the eye of the needle, you can flatten the end of the Fireline just a tad with pliers, and it flattens the thread out and you can get it through the eye with no problem. All right, so I'm going to pull some of this through. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Yeah, I had fun making a bunch of enamel dishes a couple years ago. I need to revisit that, but you just can't do it all. At least I can't. Oh, and the other thing is on this bracelet, I have a very strong magnetic clasp. I've had those before in some of my kits, so you might be familiar with those if you had gotten a kit before. These are very strong. All right. Okay, and as you're working on this project, sometimes your needle will get curvy. That happens. That's just the nature of the beast passing through all the beads. It happens. So, okay. All right. So on my thread, I am going to put a stop bead on here, which is, I'm just using, any old bead will work for a stop bead. I'm just threading this bead on close to the bobbin. And to do a stop bead, you've got the bead on, and now I'm going to run my needle back up through the bead, and that just kind of locks the bead in place so it doesn't move anywhere. Okay, so that's the stop bead. All right, and to the thread, I am going to add 4 of my core beads. Your core beads can really be just about any color that you have, if you have lots of seed beads already, because the core doesn't really show. All right, so I've got my 4 core beads on, and I'm going to avoid that stop bead there. All right, so with my 4 core beads on, I'm going to insert the needle, you're getting away from me, at the bottom of the first bead that I put in, and go through all 4 and pull my thread through. Oh, and I made a mistake right off the bat. That's wrong. Erase what I just said in your mind. Bear with me because I haven't done this in a while. And I'm still not calm enough for a class. All right. All right. I put my 4 core beads on. Now I'm going to just kind of hold on to those, and I'm going to add some of these out here. I'm going to add, and this doesn't matter how you do it. It's just how I'm doing it right now, as far as the colors or the sequence. So I'm going to add 3 15 O seed beads, and then a crystal, and then I'm going to do 3 more seed beads. Well, I'll do all of them in silver. Okay, so I have on my needle, if you can see, I have 3 seed beads, 1 crystal, and 3 seed beads. I'll send those all down. And then I'm going to take my needle and go through the 4 core beads, just the 4 cores, and pull my thread through. Okay, so then this is how it looks right now. Then I'm going to add 3 more seed beads, a crystal, and 3 more seed beads in the second color. And I think I need to move this camera a little bit and send those down. And then I'm going to go back up through those first core beads, those first 4 core beads, and pull the thread through. Okay, so this is how it looks right here. I'm going to wait till the camera catches up with me to see if I'm in focus or not. Okay. All right, so you've got those 2. I'm going to call this a unit when you have the crystal on either side of the 4 core beads. And I'm going to, that second one that I put on, I'm going to push to the left a little bit. All right, now I'm ready to build on to this. So I'm going to add one more core bead. This is all repetition from here on in. So one more core bead, and I'm going to add 3 silver, 1 crystal, and 3 more silver seed beads, and bring that all down. And now, since I added, you're always going to go through 4 core beads, but I just added one, so I'm skipping going through the very first bead that I have down here, going in between the first and the second, and pulling my needle through those 4 beads. So now I have another unit there. All right. And I'm going to add 3 more seed beads, another crystal, and 3 more seed beads. Bring those down. And again, come up the last 4 seed beads, of the core beads, I mean. Come up through them. And push that to the left. Now it's time for another core bead. So it's 1 core bead, 2 side beads, 2 side units, go through the last 4 core beads, and you just keep repeating the same thing. And it gets nice and full that way. All right. I need some other colors here. Okay, here we go. Initially, I start off with those cute little dishes, but then they get knocked over or whatever. It just happens. So it gets, my working surface gets a little messy. Okay, so 3 seed beads. Okay, so each time you add a seed bead or a core bead, you always move up so that you're always just going through the most current 4 core beads. Make sure you don't go through the little seed beads. Now, I've probably confused many of you because it is confusing at the very beginning. You sort of have to do this a little bit as you're working. But in case you don't quite get it, let's see if I can draw anything. I'm not a very good draw person. But what I'm doing is you've got 4 core beads. Your central thread is going through all of these. Okay, this is going to be upside down to you. I'll try to turn it over though. All right, so your thread is coming out here. All right, and the first one I added on the string, the first one I added 3 15 millimeters of 4 millimeter crystal. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and go through the beads again. Okay, This is probably clear as mud. All right, so as I come through here, then I'm going to add, I need a better pen. Oh, worse stuff when you need it. Well, I guess I'm going to have to persevere with this one. So then you've got 3 15 millimeters, a 4 millimeter seed bead, and then they're going to go back up through those 4, okay, and then you pull them tight, and then you add another core bead, okay. So I guess, are you getting this? So this is the start, and now you're going to put that core bead on here, and then after that's on and you do the 2 sides again, you're going to move your needle, you're going to skip this one and put your needle right here and come up where it goes through that core bead. I don't know how else to describe it, but hopefully you'll get it. On the handout, there's printed pictures that might help you. These are different beads, but still it's the 4 beads, the 4 cores. Then you make the little side unit, and then you make the second side unit, and then you go through between, well, you're adding another one on here. I'm confusing myself. Looks like a spine and lugs. Yeah, that would be a way to describe it. But you just keep building on this until you get to where you need to be. All right. That might be frustrating. I don't know. I probably would get frustrated with me too. All right, so here's another core bead. And then 3 of the silver beads. And the crystal. And being that they're multicolors, that I'm using multicolors, you can switch them around however you want, but it's pretty much going to come out just kind of speckled or spattered colors. So I'm going through the top 4 core beads. Oh, I went through 5. Let's back that up. You only need to go through 4. Okay, so I'm passing my needle through the top 4 core beads. And we're adding our little bead there. And then we'll load up 3 in the second color. And we're going to pass it through those 4 core beads again. And always push those little units to the left. And drop them off just like I did. This makes a stunning bracelet. It really does. And you can use a variety of different beads. But with that being said, depending on the size and the shape, you want them to be able to nest well. And some beads are better than others. I don't think, I think a 4 millimeter bead is about as big as I would go on this pattern. But if you're adventurous and you want to try something else, I would certainly go for it. So if you look through the top of your bead, if you're looking at your work downward, you'll see from each of the core beads, you should have 2 strings coming out. So that means you've added both of your units on here. If you ever get confused on where you're at, I get confused where I'm at all the time. Okay, so I've got my 2 threads coming out of there. So now it's time for another core bead. And 3 silver seed beads. And then I'm going to look up and see if there's any comments, because I think there is, but I can't really pay attention to that and this very well. So I'll stop and look. All right, so I've got that 1 unit on there, and I'm going to go through the last 4 core beads. And sometimes it's hard to get the needle in between the beads. So don't make your tension too tight. You don't want it loose, but you don't want to go too tight that you can't get your needle through either. So that's a consideration. All right, push that to the left so that they all spiral. Okay. And I've done a similar with a single spiral. And I made a necklace out of it, and it's beautiful. And I'll show you parts of it because I never did finish it. But I'll show it to you so you know what I'm talking about. All right, so I'll push these through down to that core bead, then go through the last 4 again. And it's the same thing over and over and over again until you reach the length that you need. All right. So it takes a while to get through this. You know, it's not that you're not gonna get it done in a couple of hours. This is gonna take a while to build this up. I would work on it probably for a couple of hours, then take a break, or maybe do it the next time. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to look here. What's the stitch called? Heck if I know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a spiral. As far as I know, that's what it is. It's a spiral stitch. But I think that there's probably variations of spiral stitches, just on a lot of different things. Tammy says, it's not your fault that I'm not following. I just can't see on my phone. I tried using my laptop, but it keeps dropping the broadcast. I'll watch the replay later on my laptop later. This is a very cute bracelet. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. I know it's frustrating. Some things you can see really well, you know, what I'm doing. But when you get to the needle and thread projects, it's really hard. I don't have the fancy camera stuff that I could get in there with close-ups. But, you know, that's one of the hazards of the thing. But I provide the handout so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. Deb Henready says, about how many stitches do you think that you have memorized? I don't know. You know, I do a fair amount of different things, but I do stuff sporadically. So sometimes I forget what I have done, you know, or how I did it or whatever. But you know, I've never been heavily into the beaded stuff, although I do enjoy it. And sometimes, and I've said this before, some people like to do like one technique and they get really good at it, and they know everything about it. but I know little bits and pieces of a lot of different things. So, you know, you get what you get with me. So, let's see here. All right. Yeah, I can see that this broadcast keeps cutting in and out, and that is frustrating. And I apologize, but it is like beyond my control. So, I'm going to plug along with this for just a little bit, and then I will show you how to end it because that will be important. You're going to need to allow about a half an inch or so for the clasp attachment. So when you start to work on it for a while, I would check how it fits around your wrist and how much more you have to go, or if you're right there. But it takes about, I'd say about a half an inch between the ends of this to allow for that. Okay, so I can see this is a frustrating demo. So I probably shouldn't have done it because you know how I am. If you've been watching me for a while, when I get flustered, I'm just like, I'm done. So, but I'm going to keep going with it for a little bit, and then I'll finish off the one, and then you can always replay this, and hopefully you'll get something out of that, and then you can have the handout to help you out a little bit more. All right, so let me put my double eyes back on here and see where I'm at. And I've got my 2 threads coming out the top, so it's time to start another unit. And I'll put my core bead on here. And then 3 with my silver seed beads. And a crystal. And 3 more seed beads. And go through the last 4 core beads. Make sure that you're going through the core beads and not on the side, so that your thread doesn't show. You don't want your thread showing. You want to go through those core beads and pull that up, and then and push it to the left a little bit. And I'll get my second unit. It's really not a complicated project, and I mean that sincerely. It's just that you have to know what you're doing, and I don't know that you can really see what I'm doing all that well. I'm going back through the 4 core beads, and adding this unit on here. Okay, now it's time for another core bead. And when you're working with long lengths of thread, uh, keep everything out of your way that could get caught on it, because the thread gets tangled up. If you have scissors or something nearby, more than likely your thread's going to get hooked on it. And then make sure that your 4 core beads are, that none of your little 15s are sitting lopsided, and go inside your core bead. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you do this. Sometimes they just move a little bit, and it'd be easy to get your needle through one of the size 15s by accident. This one's stubborn. I think I need to get stronger magnifiers too. In the beginning, it kind of doesn't look like much, but as you keep adding your beads, it starts to take shape. Donna says, I have so many seed beads, I was thinking this may be a good way to use them. Thank you for doing this tutorial. Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, you know, there's tons of things that you can do with your extra seed beads. This would be a good project. The thing is that you just want to make sure that they nest, that your beads will nest well together. All right, let's see here. Oh, this was supposed to be blue. I suppose there really are no rules. I just thought a little variation in the seed bead color would be nice, but you can do whatever you like, especially if you have a solid color pattern that you're going to work and not a multicolor. It might be nice to have a contrasting, well, it would be nice to have a contrasting seed bead for whatever the main color is going to be. All right, let's see what else. I guess the colors I have here aren't the greatest. Some of them are okay. There's not enough variety, I don't think, in the colors. But if you keep your beads going to the left, it's easier to uncover that spine or the core uh, where you need to get your needle through those four um, core beads, the 8 O's. I'm just all thumbs right now, literally. Okay. For some reason, I'm having trouble grasping this. Not grasping the concept, grasping the bead in here. It seems like when one thing goes wrong, everything just kind of follows suit. All right. You just need a little perseverance with this. Oh, I missed the top one. So I don't know, some of you probably saw the spoons that I made a couple of days ago. Little copper spoons I had shown on the group page, and those were kind of fun. I only did the two. Um, okay, there we go. But I want to do some more of that before I do a demo on that to make sure I uh, get it all down pat. All right, so I'm just going to leave it at this stage right here for this, and we will work on finishing this other one. So, you just keep repeating and keep repeating what I was doing. And then, let me see here. I have a little bit to finish on this particular bracelet, and then we'll close this one off too. All right, so I already put the clasp on this end, so I'm going to unroll the thread from the bobbin on this end. That's actually more than I need. But it's better to have a little extra than not enough thread. You can always cut it off. You can always add thread on too if you want to, but if you can avoid it, it just makes for a stronger piece. All right, so now on this end where I had the stop bead, I'm going to remove that. Just take that out. Well, actually, I can use this one as my core bead right here at the end. And this is just like I kept going on this one end. Okay. So I'll put a few on this, and then we'll close this end off. Okay. All right. The thing with the Chinese crystals is they're not always perfect. Sometimes there's a little size variance, or they're not machined evenly. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. But in certain projects, they're great. They have a lot of shine. And, years ago when I first started beading, Swarovski was the gold standard of crystal beads. And I'm not discounting them in any way. I wish that they hadn't gone out of business with the bead department. And there's plenty of other nice ones out since, but using Chinese crystals in comparison, a lot of people would not care for that. Only in the fact that they weren't machined quite the same way as Swarovski did their beads. But they're a lot less expensive too, so it makes it a lot more affordable to bead if you can find them. Like I said, when I went to Tucson last year, because I didn't go this year, but when I went last year, I could find a lot in various sizes, but not in the 4 millimeters. There was either smaller or much larger, and for this bracelet, this is what I wanted, was the 4s. All right. Deb says, I'm watching from my iPhone and not having any interruptions at all. I don't think it's you. I think it's Facebook. There's something about how they stream lives. I don't know, but I'm not a technician. But I'm not. You're not dropping out on my phone. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but it's frustrating to me. It's like I have a hard enough time keeping stuff together. Um, and then when you get those issues that just kind of, I don't know, it just frustrates me. All right. Because there's so many fun things to do and see and learn about. Um, but you know, I don't have all the bells and whistles to uh, you know, have all the equipment and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't know enough about it. And I do this by myself, so I don't know. Maybe if I had started out with technology earlier than I had, I might have learned a lot more. But I feel like at this stage of the game, I really don't want to invest in that. Not just the money, but the time learning all that new stuff. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the. Oh no, I have to. I've got this one yet to finish. One more on here, and then I will close this or put the magnet on this end. Show you how to finish that off. And then you're on your own. So I will put some kits together. I don't know how many I'll get out of the beads that I have, but if you're interested, just let me know and I'll put a kit together for you. And we'll go from there. I think the kits will be $25 and $5 for shipping. I'm going to go with that. And you'll get everything that you need. So you don't need to search for anything. I think kits is the way to go as far as little projects like this because so many times you have to buy things in larger quantities and you don't really know if it's something that you're going to like to do and make that investment. So having a little kit and not a big investment is a great way to learn things. But the kits will be multicolor, like I said earlier, because of the different color beads. It takes about 200 beads to do this entire bracelet. So, what did I do here? Okay. All right. So, I'm getting my threads mixed up here. All right. So, I'm done with this. And I'm going to I'm coming out of the core bead here, and I'm going to take one end of my magnet. The magnets have um, little space in there so that you can thread right through it. I've got my magnet on there, and then I'm going to go through that core bead that I came out of. And then I'm going to go back through the magnet. So I want to go through back and forth through that magnet to make sure that it's nice and strongly attached. Go back through that core bead and back through the magnet again. Do a little bail or whatever you want to call it on the magnet. Just back and forth. Just kind of like when you sew a button on. And then I'm going to go through some core beads. Because I want to make sure that this is nice and reinforced. And you can reinforce to your heart's content if you want to do that, going down the row of core beads, and then you can also bring some of the thread through the little units. And you don't have to do the whole. Some people like to reinforce the entire bracelet, all the beads, when they do a beaded bracelet just for strength. But I think it depends on the type of bracelet it is. I don't find that necessary in all the different beaded bracelets. You could drive yourself batty doing all that. But you want to go down at least about an inch and weave it in and out so it's nice and strong. You don't want any threads to show. I definitely need stronger magnifying glasses than what I have on here. Good magnification and good lighting are really so very important when you're doing any kind of beadwork, so that you can really see what you're doing. All right. So then I'm going to just snip. Where's my scissors? Here they are. Okay, snip that off. And this end I had already reinforced, so I'm just going to cut this end here. This is a smaller bracelet than will fit me, but it will fit someone. It's quite a bit smaller. Well, it's too tight for me, but that's okay. It still works. But that would not be comfortable on me. Bracelets should be a little bit more, well, not skin tight. You should be able to have some movement in there. This one is a lot better. These magnets are great. This is the one that fits me perfectly. But there's a lot of people that have skinny wrists, so that'll work. You could make a necklace out of this too if you had the patience. Speaking of necklaces, I don't think that I did this as a demo, but I may have. That's my most common. Both my husband and I, we say, well, I don't think I did that before. Well, I don't know. Maybe I did. Everything's like, I can't be certain. That's really true. Okay. So this is the spiral that's going to be a necklace. And this is just a single spiral. And it's a lot more defined as far as spiral goes. You can see on here. This is really pretty. It's a really pretty crystal. This is the one that I was really having trouble with trying to find when I was in Tucson. These were crystals that I bought a long time ago, and it's two different colors of blue. One is kind of like a smoky blue, and the other one's more, I don't know, it's just a dark blue, like a midnight blue. I just love that. And I did find a few strands in Tucson, but I don't think it will be enough to make a whole necklace. I'm hoping that I have enough, but I could get to about, 3/4 of the way and then run out of beads, and then I'm kind of screwed. Although, maybe, just maybe, if they're not long enough just as a necklace itself, maybe I could add some silver chain to it and make a different kind of design. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities. But yeah, this is a beautiful one. This is a beauty. So yeah, so I think that's all I'm going to do on this demo because it's just a demo. It's not a class. Um, see, I do have a strand of the dark blue and the light blue, but I don't know if it's enough to finish that necklace. So we'll see. So if anybody does any of the shows or whatever and finds 4mm Chinese crystal, let me know because I might be interested in getting some. All right. So I will put the printed instructions on the group page. I don't have any references, I don't think, for anything that I used as far as where to get stuff. Um, hmm. Yeah, no, I'll do that, and then you can download your instructions and you can see the closer up pictures, uh, and kind of go forward from that. If you decide you want a kit, let me know, and I'll put some together. Like I said, I don't know how many I can make, maybe 5 or 6. Uh, Usually I like to offer more than that, but I don't think I have enough beads for it. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna, oh, these are my little spoons. If you didn't see them on the group page, these are little copper spoons that I made. Deb, I know you asked about the uh, the sizing of how I made the bowls, and I just got lucky. Um, this was this teaspoon. I have a pancake die that is 1 1/4 inches. If you didn't have a pancake die, you could still make a circle, of that size and cut it out by hand. This was 22 gauge copper, and I dapped it in metal dapping blocks till I got the spoon shape that I wanted, the bowl shape that I wanted. And then I used 10 gauge copper wire and beat the crap out of it. And for the tablespoon is almost a tablespoon. It's just a couple of drops short of a tablespoon. It's like a taco short of a combination plate kind of thing. But um, this was a 2 inch circle. But there again, I think if I had cut it 2 1/4 inches, it would have been just right. But it's pretty guessy, you know. I don't measure, weigh anything, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. You should know that about me by now. Um, but I think in my experimentation, in my next ones, I'm going to try to cut out a circle that's 2 1/4 inches and see if that fits a complete, accurate tablespoon. But they're copper, and I don't really intend to use them for much other than maybe the sugar bowl. Um, I don't want to put them in the dishwasher or anything like that. They're more decorative than anything, but they are functional. So I may do this for the next demo. I'm not really sure, but I gotta keep working on it so that maybe I can give you a little bit more accurate information on that. So I'll put that stuff up on the group face our group page, and then if you want to kit, let me know. I'll see you guys later. I need a drink. Take care. Bye bye.